of Mesilas Yesharim as we look into the wonderful world of the path of the just, the way of the upright, straight and correct way to go. So today we're going to talk about Derech Knias HaZerizus, how to buy zealousness, right? Well, Knias could just mean just how to acquire it. It also mean to buy it. You really can't buy it, right? Just like you can't buy love, you cannot buy zeal. It must come from within you, and you have to connect to it very deeply. So we talked about what it meant to be zealous. Basically, was a get up and go attitude. Have to take every opportunity to go do it when I can. And here we're talking about the manners through which zirizus or zeal is going to become part of you. How you're going to pick it up and put it in your pocket. Okay, these are the things through which it is. There's a process of acquisition. There's different levels of it, and there's different detractions from it. So we're going to talk about what those are for how to get it. So ki inyanam karov zelazem od ve'ein hafesh b'nehem ela shezeh be'asin v'zeh b'lavin. So there's a difference, not much of a difference between how they are performed, but there's a difference between some being actions that are zealous for doing positive mitzvahs, and there are actions that are delineated for not violating negative mitzvahs. So when you see how important it is, when you see the truth of the significant investment into the mitzvah, and how important and the gravity of its obligation upon you, a person will certainly take to heart how important that service is and won't let it sort of lay aside. Amnon, Mashiucha lahagbir lahahis orus hazeh hu hahistaklos berov hatovos, shakadosh baruch hu ose im ha'adam b'chol eis v'chol sha'ah. V'haniflaos hagadolos sher ose imo me'eis hadleda ad hayom ha'acharon. Ki kol ma sheyarbe lehistakal lehisbonein b'dvarim ele hine yarbe lahakir atzmo chova rabba el ha'el hametiv lo. The thing that really motivates you to give you the strength to do all these things is to take a serious look at the tremendous amount of good things that happen in your life from a moment a person is born until his very last day. He will see the tremendous things that are done on his behalf from God, and all those things that he continues to investigate and appreciate and understand why he gets them. He's going to see how important it is to be appreciative and dedicated to this service. And so these different patterns through which a person could find themselves becoming lazy and weak in the service itself of performing these things, because if you can't appreciate how difficult it is for these good things to reach you, all at the same time holding you responsible, at the very least you should be appreciative of what he does and fulfill some commandments. Adam be'eze matzav sheyimatza im ani im ashir im bari im chole shlo yirad niflaos v'tovos rabos b'matzavo. So, whatever socioeconomic level you seem to be found at, whether you're in the lowest or in the highest, poor or wealthy, healthy or unwell, a person should still not ignore, or you have to. There's not a single person who can't see the amazing things that are done on his behalf. A person who already sees themselves as wealthy and healthy should feel somewhat indebted to God as a result of those things that he's given him. Ani chayv lo shafilu ba'anyo mamsilo parnasaso derech nes ufelav eno manicho lamusparav. The poor person experiences it more palpably, where he says that in his own poverty, the way in which he finds ways to survive is somewhat miraculous, and that God won't leave him to die in hunger. And even a sick person who is really totally enveloped in their sickness and the difficulty of it, he still sees that God isn't letting him come to complete destruction. And in anything like this, until a person realizes that there's nothing that doesn't create an indebtedness of himself to the Creator, he still continues to exist despite the challenges ahead. And when you finally, as we just said, take a look at all the good things done to you, you should feel somewhat of a sense of gratitude for everything that's been done, and you should therefore become more zealous and more awake to do your service. And how much the more so that when a person really, really thinks about it, that all the good things that come to him are really predicated on things that come from the hand of God himself. And so whatever he needs, whatever he finds himself whenever he finds himself having a need for some of these things, or he's compelled to take on certain things, whatever those things are, is coming from God and not from anyone else. Asher al kain vaday shelo yisatzel me'avod avodaso yisbarach v'lo yachsar lo mashahu muchrach elav. And so therefore, when you are a person focusing on all the good things coming your way, you're not going to be lazy, and you're going to instead focus on your service of God, and you won't be leaving anything out of your service as a result. So what I really have done is taken the statements I've made about watchfulness, about Zealous, and I've basically wrapped all three of them into one thing, because they are one thing. They do function in very much the same way, and one can be learned from the other. So the entirety of knowledge in this subject will get you to focus on that one point of zealousness, your obligation towards it, and that's going to basically influence the value that you place upon the things that you do and the things that you examine. Meaning you're gonna weigh the value of everything that you do, right? Schar mitzvaso keneged hefsedo, right? The value of the mitzvah against it. So that's what you're gonna look at it. That you're gonna be doing. That's what's gonna motivate you to be more of a zogis. Busha layom tagmul also hatova shahayachol hasig va'abda. And there are going to be those people who are going to say, when it comes to the world to come and the honors I'm receiving there, I'm just not going to get there. I'm not going to do any of that. They should really be embarrassed at what they're missing out on, what could be allocated to them, when they see the total good in its full comprehension. And then when they finally see what the whole thing is, they have to see what they could have gotten, and that they also lost it. And for everybody else, what else do I need to see? What else do I need to say? What else can there be to be? How do you require Zealous? Zealous is basically just do it, right? Like we said last week. So there's not a lot in that chapter, but the next chapter is quite long, so we won't have time to do another chapter today. We may have to break up chapter 9 into 2 classes. I'll either have to do a much longer class next time. The next chapter is about twice as long as this chapter, but we'll see. We'll see hopefully for next time. So thank you for joining us in our class this week. This chapter, like I said, was very short, but it was very insightful. And we will meet up with you again when we discuss the detractions from zealousness in our next class. Thank you for joining, and have a wonderful day.